Yeah,
pod.
yeah, yeah. If you need anything else from me, for like, I don't know, thumbnail or links or anything, let me know.
Can you
All
send
right.
me if you have like a picture, like whatever file you use for like y'all's logo? If you'll send it to me, kind of like how we did with Zach. I have normally it'll be like us, like we're kind of at the top, and then I'll basically just like slide yours over, and then I'll put your logo on this little section over here, so that way people see it. But so if y'all have like a
Don't have one of those yet.
don't have one, do y'all have?
You
No, no,
say,
no.
did you say you were gonna do it whenever I'm the one that makes the thumbnails?
No, I'm talking about on the editing of the video.
The
You'll make the
overlay.
thumbnail. I don't give a fuck what you do with the
The
thumbnail.
overlay.
No,
Yeah.
I'm
We
just fucking with you,
we
Blake. Calm down.
don't have a logo. We just use pictures of us. So I don't want another picture of me there.
Fair
So you
enough.
might have to
Okay,
get creative, bro.
we'll put Teamer Pirates right there.
Yeah, yeah. Just put a big old like, yeah, Malcolm in a rog rack right there or something.
Malcolm in a Rog, dude. The hell yeah. Welcome back to the Casting Call CDH podcast. I'm Blake.
I'm Chase, and today we have another special guest.
Hi, I'm Ty Ohio, half of Hellbent on YouTube.
Well, welcome to the Casting Cost CEDH podcast. Ty, how are you doing today?
Good, man. Thanks for having me. I'm super excited.
Hell yeah, dude. And I know we've kind of sat here and had like a long conversation before we got into things because I know Blake likes to ramble. So I don't know if either that's going to make it in or not. But
Bro, I had a pizza before we started this.
Hey, yeah, let a man eat his pizza.
he's gotta have his snack. But
Shout out
no,
Zach
shout out Zach Adler. Yeah. But yeah, man, like it's good to have you on here. I know we kind of briefly got to meet like at the cookout. Kellen introduced me to you and
Yeah,
things like that. And like since then, like how things been going for you in CDH?
yeah, pretty good. I didn't do as good at Atlanta as I hoped, but I know that's like most of the people, right? Like 250 out of the however many didn't do as good as they hoped. But playing a lot of tournaments still. We have so many locals here. I've been taking Loomer around and getting my butt kicked. What about you, man? You been up to anything?
Dude, not shit here recently. Just I feel like it's been very difficult these past couple weeks to like get in games, and then even though I know there's events going on, it's just like, we got this, that, the other coming up. I know Blake's still doing stuff with the baby. There was an event that I had planned on going to like later in November, and then it got canceled. And then I was like, oh well, I guess I'm not doing that. So I'd like to get out and do more, but yeah, I'm just kind of bouncing around different decks right now. I know Blake is still kind of jamming Zur, like riding the high off, making top 16 at an event finally, and things like that. So.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, I think everything's going pretty good. I can't even before we got started, and I didn't bring this up because I wanted to ask you about this right now. Like I have been looking at all the art that's behind you.
Oh, yeah, yeah. My whole room is covered in art. I can't swivel my camera, but it's like it looks like a tattoo shop in here.
Yeah, no, that's the first thing I thought because what is like some of the art is it like American traditional? Is that the
Yeah,
style
yeah.
of what? That's something that I noticed like right away. I was just like he's got a lot of like almost tattoo pieces back there. So
Yeah.
that's pretty
I
cool.
like I'm like so obsessed with like American traditional tattoos. I mean, like I'm super tattooed if anybody's ever seen me at an event or anything. But yeah, I'm just like super into art. That's part of the reason why I got into Magic. I was just like super fascinated with the art. I'm really big on like artist proofs and getting signatures and getting altars. So it's like a fixation.
That's so funny that you know that, Chase, because like I'm the one that's like covered in tattoos, and you're like
Yeah.
the little like bare skinned baby.
It's only because I've never known what I wanted.
The first
If
one's the hardest.
Yeah, like if I always said like how I told you earlier, like I used to be a teacher. Like it's different now, but like if I knew what I wanted, I'd probably have like full sleeves. But I'm so indecisive on what I would want that it just never happened. So, but no, I just wanted to point that out because like literally I see like the whole Star Wars one that's back there,
Oh
like behind
yeah.
your shoulder, and like I think I saw like what you got Mickey back there, and
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I wonder if I can spin and see it. I don't know. There's like a Donald Duck and like a Mickey. Yeah, there's a
that's
bunch.
awesome.
Yeah, some of them I did. Some of them are purchased from other people. So,
Oh, so do
Very
you do
nice.
you do a lot of like drawing and like artist type proofs and stuff like that too?
I just yeah, I've always like drawn on cards. But I don't like sell anything. I just like give them away to people when I see them at events and stuff.
Oh
So,
yeah, I'm gonna have
if you
to
ever
ha-
see me, hit me up.
yeah, I'm
I'll
gonna have
draw
to
some
get you
for you.
to. I need to get you to doodle on a playmat for me then.
Hell yeah, I could do a playmat. That would be sick.
Hell yeah.
That's literally what I was just thinking. I was like, if I get like a white, like blank playmat,
Yeah, people.
and
I
you're
see
there.
people all the time that do like they'll buy white playmats and take them to the artists at like big conventions, which is super sick.
Hell yeah, dude.
So yeah, but no, like I said, I just kind of wanted to shout that out because I noticed that I was like, that's awesome. Like that's cool. I'm jealous of all of that, but I guess kind of going back into like CEDH stuff. I know Blake, we had kind of been talking, earlier in the week as far as like kind of some questions for Ty. Just as far as like what got you into the format and like how you got your start into CEDH. CEDH. I can't talk tonight.
Yeah, cEDH is like fairly recent to me. I started playing in 2023, so not super long ago. But I've been playing Magic for a really long time. I played a lot of Standard and Modern. Then during COVID, like a lot of people, I stopped playing Magic. So I had stopped for a couple years, and I was working at a job that I had, and one of the girls I worked with, her husband came in for lunch one day, and he stopped and was like, "Do you play Magic the Gathering? You look like you play Magic the Gathering." I was like, "I do play Magic the Gathering." And it turned that was Cam, who I like have my podcast with now. He's like my best friend. And we were like inseparable from that day going on. That was probably 2022. They played Casual Commander, and I really hate Casual Commander. And so I was like, guys, please, like, can we draft? Can we, like, here's my cube. Like, let's draft my cube. And the only way that I could get them to be competitive was cEDH. So that's how I ended up here, because that's what my friends do. So,
I feel like that's a pretty consistent story. Like I feel like that's how a lot of people get into this space. And like you even making that comment of just like I hate playing casual EDH. Same, brother, same. Like I do we've played with some of Blake's friends before, and there's like the only time I think I've played casually with Blake. And I was in a position where like things were going really, really well. And like his friend made the comment, he's just like, Chase is the only person I could think of that's actually winning the game and just looks miserable playing this because he's playing casual.
That was
Like knows
Kobe. Yeah,
exactly what I'm talking about right now.
that was Kobe. You were playing his deck. He was like a 5 color Niv Mizzet deck that's just full of like multicolored legends. And Chase has this like ridiculous board state, and he's just like beating everybody's face in. And then he just asks, he goes, "So how does this win?" And
it doesn't.
where is they supposed to be combo? Dude, no, that was, it's funny because like a lot of the decks that I had whenever I was playing casually were actually like CEDH decks that I just didn't realize were CEDH decks. Like I had a casual, it was oh my god, Krark list that just
Oh,
like, yeah, and I didn't know that was but like I was playing like much higher CMC spells and like none of the free stuff, and I wasn't playing counters. I was just playing lots of like ways that if you got enough Krarks down, then obviously like you just kind of storm off, make infinite mana, and then just like loop spells. But
yeah.
so I was like, okay, I was playing that, and then obviously Zur, which not like top tier CDH, but like for my play group, when you necropotence for 30, and then they go, oh, what the fuck? like,
Yeah.
like I've drawn one card this turn. like, but like stuff like that. But yeah, I don't know. Like I just kept building stuff, and then every time I would build something, I'd have to take it apart, and I just had all these bulk cards, and I was spending all this money like putting stuff together, taking it apart, putting stuff together, taking it apart, and I was just getting so frustrated.
Yeah.
I was like, dude, I don't want to do this anymore. And I don't know. And like we had the thing that finally like the straw that broke the camel's back. And I still love my friend. It was the same guy that made the joke at Chase, but like we were just playing a casual game one day, and I was playing like weird little Hydra +1 counter deck, and it was like Vile Smasher and Rayhan, and so like I cast big Hydras, Vile Smasher does some splash damage, and then Rayhan, if they die, they just moves the counters around. And like I cast a big Hydra and he took some splash damage, which is random, and just
Yeah.
got up and just fucking started. And I literally just like packed my shit up and I said, I'm gonna go play CDH. And then never looked
Yeah.
back. Never looked back.
Yeah, I think cEDH is like playing Commander. It's like the most fair way because at least like everybody's on the same page. They're gonna try to win the game, so you don't have people
Yeah.
freak out.
Well, I mean,
You hope not.
hope not. Hope not. Some people just fucking crash out. Like I know Blake has had some experiences in tournaments with others, but man, I think that does bring up like a whole lot of good points of just like I know we weren't even planning on kind of getting into this discussion, but like you were making those comments of like you went through almost like this like trial and error period with your play group of like let's do this, let's this is not fitting me, let's try these different things, like as you all kind of solidified things into trying to play CEDH, then like did you have any of those kind of like I don't necessarily want to say like love-hate relationships with it, but like maybe kind of like that getting into the format with
Yeah,
others?
I I like just coming from like a 1v1 like 60 card competitive background, like I just want to be like as competitive as possible, and the politics thing in the beginning and for a long time I was really bad at it and I really hated it. The first cEDH deck I built was Teamer Pirates, which is like A plus B combo, like Teamer mid range stuff. I was like, this feels pretty good. And then like getting politic, like people just like killing my Malcolm out of nowhere. I'm like, bro, what are we doing? Like this Najila's about to win the game or whatever. Um, that shows how long ago that was when those decks were relevant. But I really struggled with the politics aspect of cEDH for a long time, and then obviously like us power creeping, and like we had friends that played casual and I was like pushing like to power everything up. We had a crash out in our friend group for sure. I'm not gonna mention his name or anything, but there's a crash out for sure.
Yeah.
But just like we like built high power decks and people would get salty about that. But long since passed, most of my friends just like play cEDH now, which is pretty easy. Some of them have come with me to play other things too, which is super nice. But
Well, what's crazy is the same guy that I was just telling like that story about, which again, like I still love him, great person, but he we were just talking on the phone the other day, and he said, "No, I don't want to. I told you so moment, but I want to play CDH." And I said, "Fuck yeah, let's go." Because it was so funny because it was like the same issue that I had. Like he built, I think it was like whenever Final Fantasy came out, he put together, I think it was like Y'shtola, and
Mhm.
it's just it's good, like obviously for like a
Yeah.
casual group. So he
Hmm.
just kept trying to tweak it, and people were like, nope, can't play it. And he was like, I really like this deck, I want to play it. And then I told him, I was like, dude, just play it, a CDH version of it. And then he just kept trying to
Yep.
tweak it, kept trying to tweak it. And I was like, brother, we've been there. I was the Esper player, and you said no, no, no. It's like you just need to play CDH. And he finally was like, I want to play CDH. I was like, fuck yeah, dude.
We did it, chat.
Oh, but no, I feel like that brings up again. None of this is planned. Fuck it. Like we're going off feel at this moment, but like that brings up such a good point, and which both of you really made. Like not in kind of like the power creep discussion of like there's just this natural progression when you start getting into this space, whether you're in just casual or like trying to do some of the bracket stuff, from realistically from like 2 and 3. Like I feel like most people that want to truly be competitive and that's the part of the game that they really enjoy, they're gonna find their way into CEDH. Like it's going to happen eventually. Even just as we were talking, as Blake was talking about his friend, like it's happening to him now. Even whenever I got back into it after COVID and just being out of the format for a long time, like I'd played 60 card formats for a very long time, and I had no desire to actually play EDH in general. And when I got back in, that's what literally everyone was playing. It was just EDH. And so my focus was trying to build up my collection again, like, and just like get something established financially with that. Not a good idea whatsoever. Don't recommend that anyone trying to do that. Like this is a cardboard. We spend a lot of money on this cardboard, but don't try to use it as an investment. But like, you know, I had no desire to, and I started playing, and then the competitive itch kicked in, and I was like, "Fuck, I need, I need more. I need more of this. I want to go faster. I want to play the best things." And then here we are. Blake and Kellen make fun of me because I play a lot of just like top decks in the format, but I still choose to say overall. So,
This is a good deck.
I feel like some people would very much disagree. It's definitely not the best deck of the format,
I
but
don't know. I don't know. I talk a lot to Duncan, or people might know him as Turtle Pod on the internet, who's like the clam chowder guy. And he all the time, anytime I say anything about cEDH, he's like, "Are you ready to play the best deck yet?" And just like links me to Sisse. I was like, "No."
hey, it's very good. It's a very good deck. Trust me. I don't even play that version. I don't play the Walker lines. I play the Pod. So it's a very fringe version of Sisse.
Pod.
But I enjoy it. But we're not gonna get into the Sisse discussion. I'm gonna try to keep Blake off the Zerd discussion for a moment. But it's that idea of like, you know, the there's got to be that itch. There's got to be that drive to kind of get into this format. And I think that even where you were talking about, like, a lot of your background is in 60 card formats. I
Hmm.
feel like that's a good place to start because I feel like a lot of people get into EDH. I know I think that this is actually kind of even Blake's experience that he's talked about before. Like, he jumped straight into Commander and didn't really have much of a background in like 60 card formats and maybe limited formats and things like that, where you truly learn those basics of the game and learn those skills. And so I know you had said getting into EDH and cEDH politicking was kind of a weak area for you.
Hmm.
But coming from that 60 card background, do you feel like that was something that kind of helped really propel you into this format and you know where you currently stand now?
Yeah, I feel like having that like background mechanically of Magic, especially limited like drafting, that you when you draft, you have to think about the game like so much more in detail and in depth, and like mechanically. And I think that, and then like playing Gift Storm in Modern, which is like a really hard deck to pilot, and like learning Storm, definitely when I got to like Rogsai and stuff like that, I felt really comfortable storming off, really comfortable with the mechanics of the game, and then I just had to learn like the social aspect of it, which was hard. Like, don't get me wrong, the social aspect of cEDH is so hard, but I think mechanically, like having that background and getting that feedback, it's like my biggest part about. I try to get people to 60 card Magic all the time, cEDH players, and it's in 60 card you get feedback immediately. If you play a card and then you lose, you understand the mistake that you made. But cEDH is so complicated that like you could play a card and not you don't get the same feedback that you get in like modern because the game is so complicated. But in modern, you get it right away, so you know like how to improve.
See, I had never had like any experience in like 6 card Magic, which I thankfully I had like experience in like the 1v1 like just gameplay because like I used to tournament grind Yu-Gi-Oh like forever ago. And
Hell yeah.
yeah, I still have a shit ton of decks just lingering around, but like I loved Yu-Gi-Oh. I actually, again, this is stupid, but this channel before that I had Yu-Gi-Oh videos up. But
Hell yeah. That's so sick.
yeah, but I was like tournament grinding there, and then eventually, like my friends just got tired of the format, and they didn't want to travel to like go to events with us anymore. So I was like, okay, shit, I'm gonna like just start judging events because I felt really good like mechanically, and then I was like, okay, I'm just I can make some money doing this, and that'll pay for events and stuff because like I didn't have people to split costs with anymore. So then I was like, okay, so I'd go and like judge an event, it'd pay for the next event that I was gonna go then play in, and I just kind of did that back and forth. So when I got into like cEDH, or well, not cEDH, but like when I got into Commander, I didn't have the experience in like 60 card Magic, but I think the experience from like playing a 1v1 type of game still translated over, because I've played games with people like after playing cEDH for a while too, but I've played I just recently got into like Popper, and it's fun as shit. But I was playing a game with one of my friends, and even he was like, damn, like you have pretty good mechanics for somebody that plays Commander a lot, because I guess they've played with a lot of Commander players that just don't understand the game. And I see that, like I've played casual games where you just see people doing stuff all out of sequence and it's all fucked up, and I'm like, like okay, like just breathe, like
Yeah.
you know.
Popper is goated. I'm glad that you're getting into Popper. Popper is so fun.
Oh, dude, I built like this is gonna. I'm not gonna derail the chase, I promise. But I was like fucking around with it, and somebody let me play. It was like the Jund Dredge with like the lot left and everything. And
Yeah.
I just love Esper, so I was like, fuck it, I'm gonna build an Esper list. So I built like an Esper ephemerate list that's got like
Yeah.
the sneaky snackers and other stuff, and I still like abuse the lot left ETB with ephemerate, and just like,
Oh,
yeah, it's
that's
really
fun.
fun, dude. It's really fun.
That's cool. That's cool. Glad you're digging it out.
He's trying to get me into 60 card formats. I think I don't know. I've had a hard time going back to it. And then we have another friend of ours that he helped a lot with setting up the Discord and whatnot. He plays a lot of Flesh and Blood, and he's also been trying to like get us into that as well. And haven't dove into that, but that one would be interesting. But no, I guess just kind of getting your take on that for the 60 card format stuff, because I feel like at times there are a lot of discussions on like if you want to be able to like improve, like maybe not necessarily significantly, but really get a basis of the game, like players do need to kind of step away from like EDH or cEDH space and be able to jump to another format or something like that to build those skills up. Because I feel like a lot of times we get so kind of over like infatuated with the politicking side of it and the social aspect of it that people are just afraid to take game actions.
Yeah.
And in those formats, like you have to trust yourself. Like you have to be confident in what you're doing. And it ties exactly into what you were saying of like, you're going to get the immediate feedback in a 60 card format if whether or not you fucked up.
Yeah.
And whereas in this, like it is more complicated. There are more variables. That's always going to happen when you have more people and more cards like in the decks and things like that. But it's difficult to, I think, gain some of that confidence at times, if that makes
Sure.
sense.
Yeah. And I think you're right. I think for the average like cEDH player, playing a like a competitive format, like a 1v1 format would be like such a huge like advantage. It would like a positive EV experience, you would say. Not only in like building the confidence and like just like executing wins, and, like doing what you have to do, but like also that mechanical knowledge, and it's also just fun. I know like cEDH is hard and it's taxing and it takes a lot to like do all the thinking and talking. I know when you guys talked with Zach, he talked about like the mental fatigue of like piloting a deck all day. You just don't get the same fatigue when you're like playing 60 cards. So it's kind of a nice break from cEDH too. So like we don't me and my friends don't like lobbycon at tournaments the same way that like most other people do. We just like draft or play Popper usually. We don't play any cEDH outside of like the tournament cEDH,
Hmm.
which like keeps you way fresher too. I feel like I don't know. It's easier to do.
Do you so this is something that I did ask Zach, just bringing him up, and I'm curious because like I've wanted to ask this to so many like really good players in the space, but do you look at the game, I guess, like from this just completely different axis? Like I don't know how, I've never found a good way to like explain this, but it's like literally the
Yeah.
idea of like the 4D chess when everybody else is playing like 3D chess. Like, do you have a way that you like break the game down? Like I know one thing he mentioned was like, you have like card advantage, mana advantage, board presence, like all these things that he's looking at, and he breaks
Yeah.
the game down and I guess like simplifies it into other pieces. Like, do you do that, or do you just kind of like, you're just like,
Hmm.
fuck it, I'm just really good at this game?
Yeah.
Like,
I I feel like this is like gonna be a non-answer maybe, but I
I love
like
it.
am incredibly vibes based, and I'm about that. I'm like that about everything. I know a lot of people in cEDH get really into the statistics. I'm on a cEDH team called Team Zen. It's got a bunch of really good players in it, like Kevin, Isaac, Andy, all the Boston dudes. There's a bunch of people in it that are really good, and they talk about stats in there all the time. I just like don't care about the stats if the vibes aren't like there. So I think a lot of times in the game, like, yeah, I'm paying attention to like how many cards is their heuristic study drawn, like what did they mulligan to, like how happy were they about that mulligan and stuff like that. But it's also a vibes based type of decision. I look at people a lot too when I'm playing, which is maybe part of it. Like I really look at my opponents and like try to get a read on the actual opponent, not necessarily the cards on the board don't usually matter that much. It's like what they're going to do when I do something. So I feel like a lot of it's vibes based. I'm like feeling it out. And
Okay.
even in deck lists, like when I'm building a deck, it's like vibes based type stuff. Like in Blue Farm, I was running all of the silence effects just because I like the vibes of being able to silence whoever, whenever. Or in Rogsai, I was running like Steel Enchantment, Copy Enchantment, and all of that kind of stuff because I don't know. It might statistically it might not be the best card, but like I like how the game plays when those cards are out, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that's funny. Hell yeah.
No, dude, I think it totally makes sense. I think that that kind of even goes back to that comment on like just confidence, right? Like if you're talking about, if you slot this card in because everyone else is doing it, but for some reason it makes you feel off, like
Yeah.
when you see that card, how likely are you going to like either A, cast it or feel like you need to, or B, later on go, I didn't need that card anyway. I'm going to go back to what I initially wanted to do. And then that end up being a better result for you because you feel more confident in your construction and how you feel about approaching, whatever you're trying to do in that moment.
That's how.
Yeah, for sure. I feel like people like if you're, let's say for example, you're not comfortable in like the really big games where like everyone has a tithe and everyone has a heuristic study and everyone has a free mastermind, then like don't build decks that like put you in that position. Like build faster decks, right? So that's like part of the two, like where are you comfortable at in like the game and like going in that direction, right?
Do you think that, like, did you put yourself out of your comfort zone any to help you get better at the game?
Yeah, I've really tried to play like all of the decks in cEDH now. I've taken like 15 different decks to tournaments.
Oh, okay.
I've been taking Lumra and getting my like teeth kicked in on Lumra, but I just really like wanted to understand like how that angle of play works. I feel like it plays a lot like Atali. It's like in non-interactive colors, it like really forces you to politic and pick the right moment. You have no interaction, so you have to talk the table into keeping you alive. So that was like an experiment that hasn't gone that well. But I feel like when I go back to farm, maybe it'll be of use. Blue Farm's a new one. Like I had never played any of those cards. Uh, Rogsai, like, and then like playing Rogsai, I don't know. I feel like all the decks along the way were like, obviously I'm not comfortable the first time you take a deck to a tournament, and just like playing a lot of decks feel like makes you better because you when you sit down at a table you're like, oh, I've played this, like I've been this pilot and I've been this pilot and I've played that deck. I know what their hand could look like. I know what they're mulliganing for. I know what their game plan is, which makes you feel way better about what's happening.
Do you have a deck that you feel the most comfortable with?
The most comfortable, Roxai for sure.
Roxai.
That's just what I have the most reps on. But the best record is definitely Blue Farm. And I don't know if that says something about me or something about Blue Farm, but
Both.
maybe,
A little bit,
maybe.
a little bit of both.
Yeah.
Dude, I just
But
recently. Sorry, Chase. I
or go
keep
ahead.
cutting
Go
you
ahead,
off,
Mike.
brother. My bad. No, I just picked up Rogsai because like I
Yeah.
literally I told myself I was like I've been too comfortable with Esper. I'll even and, like I forgot who I heard say this, but like I had a tendency to even like take decks that were not in the Esper shell, and I would turn them into like an Esper deck outside. Like it would just do the exact same thing that I was doing in my Esper deck, just worse. And then I'd get frustrated and
Yeah.
be like, I'm coming back to Esper because like I like what I like, but like eventually I was in the like middle of building Rogsai and I was turning it into like this weird fucking like Grixis control list and somebody was like just play turbo and I like so
Yeah.
then Zach Adler he was like play turbo. I was like okay I'll play turbo and dude that deck I know a lot of people think that it's just like very easy, go fast. It's fucking hard to go fast, dude. Like picking windows and knowing when to jam and do stuff. It's tough. Like I have been getting my teeth kicked in, and it's a much objectively just a much better deck than Zer. But I have been
Yeah.
losing so many games.
You just
Well,
it's about memorizing like the play
yeah.
patterns too, right?
Well, and I was even gonna say too, like going back to our discussion on like just the 60 card formats where you are having to kind of be more dependent on yourself and being confident in things and like picking your windows, even in that, like whether it's Rogsai, Lumra, Itali, Ral right now, just absolutely tearing it up. Like, those decks, because I'm using those as the example because everyone's starting to clearly show that they want to go faster. Like, that 60 card experience, bringing that into that, you saying, like, you even talked about Storm, like earlier, like the Gift Storm deck in Modern and that. And then now we're talking, going back to cEDH, and you're like, yeah, I feel most confident on
Storm.
Rogsai. It's, yeah, like, so, like,
Yeah.
just bringing that experience into it and feeling good about it, like, that's what it really comes down to. Like, just as much as Blake's saying, like, control is his bread and butter. Like that's where he feels most confident and he's trying. And I definitely agree with what you were saying. Like I think taking the opportunity to not just learn a bunch of different decks, but learning a bunch of different archetypes,
Archetypes, yeah.
like is very beneficial, even if you're not successful on it. Like you learn something from it. And I think that that's kind of always a driving point that I like to make is like, what can you learn in this space, and then how can you start to apply that to what it is you really want to do or what you feel the most confident in. So
Yeah.
yeah.
I agree completely. And specifically if I was like, if you want to get more comfortable and like figure stuff out, play 60 card. If you don't want to do that, meaningfully get reps on Blue Farm, Kinnan, and Rogsai, which are like the three like best decks that represent the three like big archetypes, and like get meaningful reps on those, and you will improve so much as a player.
Okay, this is something that for some reason just popped in my head. Do you think that, how am I trying to say this? Like, do you think that the commanders matter as much whenever it comes to like learning these different, I guess, like decks or archetypes, or do you think that it's more so just like the colored shell? Do you think that like, is it more like it's not so much like I'm playing Rogsai, but I'm playing like Grixis, or do you think
Grixis
that,
Turbo.
yeah, like what is your stance on that? I guess.
I think some of the commanders are so good that like there's no denying it. Like Kinnan is just like so good at doing the like that big mana game plan that like I would learn Kinnan specifically. And like, but if you want to play like a mid-range deck, I don't know that you have to play Blue Farm. And if you play a Grixis deck, I suppose you don't have to play Rogsai. Like learning Rao would be like the same effect as learning Rogsai. Like they're very similar in the way that they want to storm off. But some of them are just so good. Like if you've never played Kinnan, you got to experience playing Kinnan once because it is crazy.
Literally, I think Blake's first time playing Kennen, he won. And like we had to
That's what
like
I'm
we had to tell him how to actually win in that moment, but it was a fun game nonetheless.
I didn't know, dude. I flipped a Kennen. I did a Kennen flip and flipped into a Nyx Bloom and was like, ah, sweet, this is really good. And then I did another flip because I had all this mana, and then I flipped into a Flesh duplicate, and I just kind of like sat there and was like, what do I clone, Chase? And he said, do you really not understand how that works? And I was like, no, this doesn't work like that, right? And he was like, it's cumulative. And I was like, oh shit.
It does. It does the thing.
After that, dude, I just started putting flip. I was doing like also, it was stupid. And then yeah, I finally got to a
Yeah.
state to where like I had bounced everything, and he was like, how do you win? And I was like, what do you mean? I just like finale. And he's like, it's my upkeep. And I was like, oh shit. Fairy Mastermind.
There we go.
But like, or I was gonna say just real quick that's such a perfect example of like being able to pick up the deck, being like, even if that's the first time in, like obviously you had a great result on that, like kind of being able to workshop it in real time. And then even if you go back to Zer going to another tournament and then sitting down with like two Kennen pilots, and you'll be like, I know what to look out for now. I know what to expect. Unless it's like Hire's list for the big flips. stuff.
Oh no, not that list. Oh god, I hate that so much.
It's like semi-blue cannon.
Yeah, semi-blue, bro. Get out of here.
And then we just don't know how that deck actually functions, but it just accidentally wins. Not Hire's list. I'm just talking about semi blue in
Yeah.
general.
You just don't let those people have a turn two, bro. Drop a necro on them.
I
They're not
think
running interaction.
I think if there was a deck like what you just said, Chase, because that's actually funny because it just popped into my head. But I think if there is a deck that I've been able to go from like the first time I ever saw it, I had zero knowledge of to like now I understand the deck pretty well is probably Tim Nadargo, because I think that besides Zer, that's probably the deck that I have like the most like second most reps on now because I've played it a lot, and so I played against a couple of them in the tournament that I went to with that Tim was at over in Clarksville, and like I played against a couple of them and immediately like I was able to like just know like okay they're a problem right now, and people were like where do you interact, and I was like just give it a sec, and then they start doing the thing and then we're shutting them off the combo and it's like cool, and then we're right back to playing the game, and I was like dang that's like a fucking superpower, I knew exactly what they were about to do. Like
Yeah, yeah, it's sweet.
oh, wait. Do you have a what is the I guess like the weirdest besides I know you're talking about Lumro, but like what is the weirdest like most fringe deck you've taken to a tournament?
Oh, geez, man, there was a lot in the beginning. I took a bunch of Blood Pod to a lot of tournaments. Tim
Okay,
Natana
okay.
Blood Pod. I took a lot of that. I took Malcolm. Let's see, I took Malcolm Timna to a bunch of events. I took Malcolm Tana to a bunch of events. Teamer Pirates. It's my favorite deck ever. It's just not that good. And then I took Malcolm Vile Smasher,
Ooh, okay.
taking Rogsai, Blue Farm, Lumra, Thalia and the Get Rog Monster. There's definitely some others that I'm forgetting. Thalia and the Get Rog Monster is probably the most non-CDH deck that I've taken to a tournament, but it's cool.
It kind of sounds like you got a little bit of stacks
I did.
background in a lot of
It
those
was
lists you just mentioned.
it was different back then. It was different back then. No, I learned that stacks are bad,
That's so funny.
Dude,
but
it's interesting that you say that because a lot of our local meta is stacks. Like a lot of Elevere,
Blood
our
Pod.
Sylvala player isn't on as many stacks effects as they have been in the past, but they've definitely been on stacks. We've had Urza stacks, we've had Tyam, we've had Blood Pod. Like we are very familiar with the stacks pieces in our region, at least here in Bowling Green.
yeah, that's super interesting.
Yeah, it is. That's one way of putting it. It's not always the most fun, but like
Yeah,
you don't see it in a lot of places right now. And you going back to that meta discussion where we were talking about just Raul and Natali and everyone trying to speed up, like historically, like there used to be like the discussion of like the rock paper scissors type matchups where stacks would kind of shut down the turbo and so on, but with the way things are currently, I don't really know what it's going to take for anything like that to change, you know
yeah. I don't know. It sounds like more people need to play Kinnan because it's really effective at winning through stacks. But
that's why I like
yeah,
playing Sisay.
I
yeah, it
That's
wins through stacks.
I think that right now, and I just watched a video where Logan was on Distraction Makers where he was talking about this, but I think that I think one of the reasons why it's kind of hard to figure out, I guess, like the rock paper scissors thing right now is because like a lot of these decks are just so versatile. Like there's like you have people that are playing like Kefka, which is it can go turbo and then it can mid range, or you have Blue Farm, which can turbo, it can mid range, it can play control because it runs a ton of like good pieces for that. I think that there's a lot of decks that, like the ones that are doing the best right now, at least, seem like decks that can kind of pivot and do a lot of things. And then the specialist or specialized decks, they do their one thing really well. But the problem is, like, if you end up in the right pod, you're cooking, like, you're good. But if you end up in the wrong pod, you're, like, screwed. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of
Yeah,
hard to, like,
that,
turbo tie them.
yeah. No, I agree with that completely. In like playing so much Rogsai and talking to like the best Rogsai pilots all the time, because it's kind of like a brotherhood. I don't know how to explain it other than that. is you realistically only need to win like if it's a 5 round tournament, I only need to win 3. So like I can have 2 bad pod matchups, and I just have to win the game, like the games that are good games.
Mhm.
A lot of that also comes from winning pod 1. Like if you're playing turbo, it's like very important that you win your first game, because more likely than not the stacks decks are not going to be at the top table. So like winning that first game is so important, and if you like go 0-2 in a 5 rounder on Rogsai, you like statistically you might as well drop, because you're not fighting through 3 stacks pods to like win out and top 4, right? So that's kind of like the math to it. If you look at like tournament reports specifically on Rogsai, if you pull up EDH top 16, Rogsai's you'll usually go 0-4 or 4-0, and it kind of just all pivots on round 1 because of
Wow.
that, right?
That's actually
Yeah,
really cool.
Rocksai's a really streaky deck. Yeah, if you look, pilots will either like gutter or they'll like win out. There's not much in between.
One thing I noticed whenever I was looking, which obviously you can't draw a ton of data from something like the Invitational, but I thought that one of the things that was super interesting there was like all of the one of my buddies, Xander, he took Rogside to that Evil Xander, which now it's Grandma Xander on Top Deck, but I love Xander. But uh, he took Rogsai, and I noticed that like
Yeah,
the Rogsai decks at that event that did really well were the ones that were built like Wrongsai, like you and Logan, and then the ones that didn't do as well were the ones that were built more like just absolute like turbo. That was pretty much it. Like
yeah,
because a lot of them like if they had a bad round one, they ended up in like the lower pods where like you were saying like you're going against some of these other decks that maybe you have a bad matchup, whereas like the wrong side decks like you're I mean you can literally play the tempo plan and just kind of
yeah,
grind it out with every other mid-range deck, and then you still have a really good suite of cards in Grixis to like actually push and get there.
yeah. That wrong side specifically was like a metagame call because it is really good into farm, and I knew that there would be so much blue farm.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of like why we did that, and it worked out. I had a win. Wish we would have gotten one more, but there's always next year or this year. I think February is the mid season, so
Yeah.
we'll see.
Bro, I watched
And something
sorry Jay, I know I keep cutting you off, I know. I
he
just
interrupted me again. I'm going to try to remember what I need to say.
yeah.
You going ahead.
Okay,
You
okay,
going
okay. And
ahead.
then I'll
Just
let
do
you
what you need
talk.
to.
But no, I remember
Okay.
watching one of the invitational games that you were playing, and I remember it was when you were resolving a con sphinx. And
Oh yeah,
brother, your hand was shaking so bad. I was watching that. I was like, "Let's fucking go." I'd never even met you at
yeah,
that point, but strictly because
yeah,
I knew Jake, like Zarek, strictly because I knew
yeah,
him, I was
yeah,
rooting for like Ohio people. I was like, "Let's fucking go." And I watched you resolving that, and I saw your hand shaking, and I was like, "Oh fuck, I've been there, dude."
yeah. It wasn't just resolving it. I had one card in hand, and it was a reanimate, and I grinding stationed the top of my deck just to see what would happen, and I milled over the con space. So I was like, "Go away."
Dude,
Um,
it was so good.
You know, something I guess I couldn't help but think about this as we were kind of talking, even in the like the rock paper scissors discussion and things like that. Like going back, and I'm gonna go back to even the 60 card format stuff, where we're talking about having to understand like the matchups and things like that. Sometimes when you're in those 60 card formats, like you're in just shitty matchups. Unfortunately, in our space, we don't have a sideboard that we have access to. But I do think that again, like taking the aspects of the other formats and kind of bringing it into the space, it's like you have to understand what not just what your deck is doing, but what the other deck is doing, and then how to get around that. Like, yeah, you might have tools within the 99 or 98 to get around it, but then that's where the whole social aspect I feel like it comes into play, like being able to like effectively politic your way and things like that. Like I don't know, I couldn't help but think about if maybe you bring some of that experience from other formats into these matchups that might be a little bit more difficult for you if you are on wrong side. Like if for some reason you are like round one against a stacks player and you're going, oh shit, how do I navigate this you
yeah.
know
That's a really good point that I guess I didn't think about, just because I've always been like thinking about sideboarding and like thinking about the matchup and like how I match up against it. Um, I think like the first thing I thought about when you were talking about that is like, well, if I'm playing against Atali, and I play against so much Atali, Cam, who I do the podcast with, my best friend, he plays like only Atali, only plays Atali. So I'm like always thinking about Mind Break Trap, and like Mind Break Trap is my sideboard card for Cam on Atali, and Draineth Magistrate. Like it is in the deck for Atali. So like when I'm playing, I'm like thinking about those cards and getting to them or mulliganing to them. So maybe it's something like that. Like I have that like, well, if I sideboarded, like this is the cards that like are in my deck for this reason. So I'm thinking about those cards when I'm like in certain matchups, or like if I'm, if I'm playing Rogsai and there's another Rogsai in the pod, like Fish is really awesome then, and Flare is especially good if there's another Rogsai. So like as I'm mulliganing, I'm like really thinking about like if a hand has Fish or Flare, or I can tutor for them, like these cards are super super good in this matchup. And again, that's like maybe like playing multiple decks and understanding like these cards line up really well against this deck. Specifically against stacks for Rogsai, the plan is just to go faster than they can deploy a stacks piece. So you're like really looking for like turn one Necropotence or turn one Ad Nauseam before they can put down a stacks piece and stop you. Once there's multiple on the board, it's pretty much the end of the game for you. But that's part of the deck too, right? Like, and even in 60 card, there'll be decks that you just have a terrible matchup against, and you just accept that this matchup sucks, and that you hope you don't run into them in the tournament. So like there's a Burn in Modern is like not a good deck, but Burn will destroy Eldrazi or Tron every time because it's just like a terrible matchup, and you just don't even sideboard in hate. There's no sideboard cards for it. You just hope that you don't play a Burn deck. You win game one, you won't see Burn, right? So that's kind of like the same philosophy I take to cEDH to some extent too.
Yeah, no, and I really appreciate that you brought up like your approach to mulligans on that specific, like with that, like because that I feel like that's where a lot of people just like have not really been thinking that much here recently, like in a lot of events. Like if it, like it's like I don't know how many times I think I've ran into games, and I've fallen victim to it myself, where it's just like, oh, this hand looks really good with turn one Esper Sentinel and like maybe another value engine to like follow it up, and then I've already lost the game by the time I even get on board because I wasn't prepared for what's actually at the table. And so yeah, I think being able to kind of tie in that idea of like the sideboard tech, like it's already in there, and like being very aware of that before you even start the round. So it's just kind of like, oh shit, I'm going up against a Tali, or I'm going up against Rogsai, I'm going up against Tyam. I need to make sure that I am prepared for that, aggressively mulliganing for it, whatever it might be. So it just puts me in the best position that I can be in. So, because like right now, everyone is just like, I feel like it's one of two things. It's either let's jam a value piece as soon as possible, or let's just jam and not give a fuck about the value pieces, right? I was watching Max P earlier today where he had Logan on there, and just talking about the league, and as far as like everyone in there is
It's
just
Turbo City in there. It is
yeah.
crazy.
Yeah, it's ridiculous how like basically what like sometimes games aren't even making it to turn three. Like people are just straight up jamming, and they don't care about whatever else, and they're just moving on to the next game. So
I think like my local is even like that now, and I think it's because of this freaking league, bro. They've like it's all turbo. But so I played Lumra this past weekend, played 5 rounds. I saw a single turn 4.
what?
I didn't see turn 2 twice. Like it was crazy. The game, my only win was when I got to untap on turn 4 with Lumra, and I was like sick, win the game. But like every game was just like turn 1 Necro. I'm like, what am I supposed to do, bro? I'm mono green. But it's crazy out here. I don't know.
It's the people are just built different now. Like
It's this league, bro. People just want to jam, and I get it. Jamming's fun. So we all just need to cope and jam faster, I guess. Time to play more Dahada. That's another deck I've taken, Dahada.
That was really good, dude.
Blake, you look like you have something on your mind.
Well, this is something that I actually wanted to ask him because I think that it's something that's relevant to us too. So we have this issue here, not even just like locally, but like I guess in Kentucky as a whole. Like they're very for some reason like anti-proxy. Like it's just so hard to go and find an event that you can actually like play like you can play proxies. Like we have a shop over in Louisville that they are like full no proxy when they do their cEDH events. Even our locals, like they're hosting an event and they're like it's like a 10 proxy limit, like things like that. But there's a lot of events that just like so it's made it hard for the Kentucky scene to grow. I feel like as far as cEDH is concerned, and then it's been hard to grow a local scene for us. Meanwhile, like I've noticed y'all's locals, like because I'm in the Ohio Discord and I'll see like the leaderboard and stuff that y'all have. Y'all have some fucking killers in that local scene.
Yeah.
What did y'all
Iron
do?
sharpens iron.
What did y'all do to
Yeah.
to grow that? Like what do you think like if you were talking to someone like us and let's say we came to you and
Mhm.
we said, "Hey, we want to grow our local cEDH scene. We want to like help boost what we have around here." What kind of advice would you have for somebody like that?
Yeah, the first advice I have is go talk to Jake Belangi. No,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Jake did so much of the work. We started the Ohio CH Discord, or I should say, uh, Jake started it. I don't know. I was around from the beginning too, but he started this Discord, and the first couple shops that had CH events
Hmm.
were because he asked them to do it and said like, "I will get people to show up," which was awesome. But we did struggle with the proxy thing a lot in the beginning, and we simply just like won't go. If an event like a store is hosting an event and it's like no proxies, people just don't go. Yeah, just like get lost. Like I mean, I'm allowed to cuss. Go fuck yourself.
That's right,
As
dude.
far as
Go
I'm
fuck
concerned,
yourself.
I'm
You
not
heard
gonna
it
do
from Ty, Ohio.
anything.
Go fuck yourself.
That's
Yeah.
right, Hobby
Oh no,
Town.
I'm gonna get clipped. I'm gonna get clipped. No. But really, like, I'm not gonna help promote your event. Like, I'm not gonna do any extra promotion in the Discord. Like, I'm not gonna talk about it if you're gonna do the non-proxy thing. And then even in the beginning, like, I hosted events that weren't at card shops just for like the Discord to just like do a thing, and that way it could be proxy friendly. So we have in Columbus, we have some like food halls, which are just like cafeteria type things. They have
Mhm.
like a bar and a bunch of like little stalls in them. And I called them up and I was like, "Hey, can I have a magic tournament at your place? I'm gonna bring like 60 dudes and we're gonna be here for 5 hours." And they were so jazzed to have 60 dudes like up in there all day, right? They gave us the tables for free. So I think like getting creative and like not being afraid to like host your own events is a big part.
Mm.
There is a huge legacy scene in Columbus. There's an event called the Buffalo Chicken Dip, which is like the second largest legacy tournament in the United States, as far as I'm concerned. And they used to do it at a brewery. Like the second largest legacy tournament in the United States was held in a brewery forever because that's like the place that would let them do proxies, and like card stores were like against it. So getting creative is part of it, and then like actually bullying the card stores too.
Dude,
Like just talk shit about them, and
it's so
they'll they'll
I feel
conform.
I feel so vindicated because of you saying that. So I thank you. No, I literally,
Yeah.
dude, it made me so mad because we talked and talked and talked and talked and talked to our local shop, and it's kind of frustrating. Not to even turn this into like a rant, but they only want to get involved with like Magic and card games whenever another shop comes into town, and then they care enough to like put that shop out of business, and then they just quit giving a shit about cards again, and it's really frustrating. So like I went to the owner and was like, "Look, we have this channel, we'll promote the event. We've got the Discord, we're in other Discords, especially like places around us. Like we can promote this event." And I'm like talking about like use Top Deck, and they wanted to do like in-store signups, and I'm like, "Dude, we'll literally buy the software if you'll just like we'll you can use it like whatever. We know the people that have literally built the damn software. Like we can go talk to them if you have questions, whatever you need to do. Like well, we like all this stuff, and yeah, and then you
Actually,
just give all this
actually,
input.
there's a couple of our locals that bought
The
like the
software,
subscription to Top Deck and the software for it. I think just for this to happen,
yeah,
Yeah.
and
yeah,
and
That's what
so
I
Jake did for us in the beginning. Like stores were using Jake's Top Deck account
yeah.
originally.
Yeah, I literally told them, I was like, look, if they're not gonna get on board with that, I kind of did what you said, like the whole boycott thing, where I was like, fuck it, out of principle, I will not go. Like, it's sorry, like not gonna happen. I'm not gonna promote it on the Discord. I'm not gonna talk about it. I'm not doing that shit. And then our
Yeah.
two locals that are pushing it so hard, I felt so bad because they're like, they are really trying hard, and they've helped us out a lot too, just on the channel. And they asked if we would play,
Yeah.
and I was like, fuck. And I thought about
Yeah.
showing up to the event with a full
Yeah.
proxy deck, but then my luck is I'd get fucking DQ'd and then I'd be
Yeah.
banned from like.
Well, I don't know about if you know about me and SCG Con, but
No, let's hear this story.
there's not much of a story. I'm not gonna tell the whole thing, but I got DQ'd from SCG Con for playing with a card that wasn't real. So based, some might say. It was a time twister. Um,
Hell yeah.
but I think that's like a big thing is just like, get creative if you have to. If there's breweries, just like actual bars, like restaurants. I mean, in Colorado, they did a whole thing at a Dave and Buster's, bro. Like, yeah, just,
Roosters, brother. Roosters.
and I talk to people on Twitter all the time. They're like, I don't have locals. And I always comment, like, build it and they will come. Like, you got to be the change you want to see. And, like, it just takes that work. Building a scene from scratch is hard, but it is doable.
I remember end of day one at the cookout, one of our locals, he was wanting one of the cookout play mats, so I had to like track down Wayne. And like I did eventually like get the playmat for him as they were like kicking everyone out. But I was like, what would it take to get a land go event in our area? He's like, where are you guys at? And I was like, Bowling Green, Kentucky. He's like, well, there is one coming up in Louisville, and I think that one's on like the 20th of December, but it is a no proxy event, and it's a gold event.
He's doing a no proxy event. The
I
store that he's
think
partnering with is like no proxies.
yes. Yeah. Now,
That's what he could do some change. I love Wayne. Wayne's doing awesome things. Shout out Wayne.
oh yeah,
But like,
He's doing amazing things right now. I've been super impressed with Lango. But yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
I know he specifically is proxy friendly, and maybe as like Landgo grows and cEDH grows, people like Wayne or Baldy or Topdeck can like strong arm people into allowing more proxies. A lot of the stores are scared about like their WPN status. That's what it boils down to. They're scared about their WPN status allowing proxies. But like cEDH isn't a real format, so like who cares, bro? No one's snitching. Like, ah.
Yeah. Well, that my whole thought process on this is like, one, you make, if you get double the signups from people just showing up because it's like proxy friendly, you've already like done way better than probably the card sales that you're going to do from the people that already own their deck. And then second of all, because like they're not coming to your store to buy cards, they own the damn deck, like they own everything.
And unless you have 12 volcanic islands in the case, brother, we couldn't buy the deck anyways. So
I mean,
Yeah. No, exactly. Well, you brought up the WPN thing, and I think that's what our local store has been mostly worried about is if they do allow proxies, will they lose that status? And like, I get it. And and a lot of these shops, and again, it kind of goes back to the 60 card format discussion. Like that's what a lot of people are still familiar with. That's what a lot of stores are still familiar with, and Wizards provides a lot of support for it. We're still relatively new, but until these places can actually see like the good it does, not just for the community, but for the shop itself, like the potential. And it like there's something there if Wizards keeps pushing Commander product, right?
yeah,
It might not be specifically for us,
yeah,
but there's something there.
yeah. This specific topic, I'm a little hesitant to like want Wizards of the Coast to take over cEDH, but because then it'll all be a non-proxy, right?
Yep.
So
We had
they
a
need to stay
very,
in the dark as far as I'm concerned.
We've had numerous debates on this
yeah.
one.
I think
So,
Wizards and Hasbro, dude. I look okay, and I'm okay. Like they can sue me for defamation. I don't have shit anyway. Fuck them. I fucking hate Hasbro. I just hate them, dude. Like,
Well, we'll see what happens in this. They got an earnings call like this week or something. We'll see what happens.
yeah,
There's word of hostile takeover. So
yeah, they drive me nuts, bro. It's I don't know. It drives me nuts because like every time we have something good, and like they'll be riding the coattails of like all of these things happening. They did it with D&D. I don't know if you play D&D, but they did it with D&D. Like, dude, they were D&D was crushing. I mean, crushing. They had the movie that was coming out. Stranger Things was promoting the hell out of it. It was doing so good. They were just releasing the new rule set for everything, and then they went and like basically all of these creators and artists, they were like, you now owe us money because you're using our IP or whatever, and everybody fucking canceled their D&D subscriptions. They all quit. Like they literally boycotted the fuck out of it, and they lost so much money. And then finally they were like, okay, we changed our mind. We're not going to do that. And then everybody got back into the format or the format into the thing. And then they rewarded their workers that year for record high profits by laying off like 1,000 of them at Christmas. And so I fucking hate Hasbro. I stand by it. I like Wizards. I fucking hate Hasbro.
Yeah.
So is what it is.
Yeah.
And if they watch it, I don't think that any Hasbro employees are going to watch it. But if so, fuck you. So I'm just kidding.
Yeah. You'll get the next negative survey. Did negative opinions about Spider-Man from content creators make you buy less Spider-Man Magic the Gathering? I don't know if you guys saw that survey that went out.
I did not see that.
Wizards of the Coast sent a survey to people, to like consumers, people that had like Wizard accounts.
Yeah.
And one of the questions in the survey was, did content creators' negative opinions about Spider-Man Magic the Gathering make you buy less of it than you would have?
Huh. So what are they going to do? They're going to fucking tell us we
Crazy.
can't make videos? Like, eat my ass, dude.
I don't know. Pretty crazy. I think it did bad. We'll see though. I don't know. I don't think it did as good as Final Fantasy.
Yeah.
I don't think anything this year is going to do as good as Final Fantasy.
It was a home run. It was an awesome set, an awesome draft. I've never played Final Fantasy and I like it. And this Spider-Man is like to me, but
Well, they just, I feel like there was so much potential there, and then they just dropped the ball. Like you can't blame, you can't blame content creators for bad card design. Like they're like that's what it kind of comes down to, right?
it's like you put out a turd and then you're mad that people are calling it a turd. Like,
Yeah.
is that her, bro? I don't know what to tell you.
That's silly. Dude.
Well, I think just the product fatigue is very real right now.
I think people are excited about Avatar, though. I'm excited about Avatar. This is the first Universes Beyond set that I like am familiar with the IP. So
Fair enough.
I'm excited.
Yeah, I think. Go ahead, Chase. I've been interrupting you. Go
Oh
ahead.
no, you're good. You're good. I can't think of anything. We never had a topic to begin with, but we got very off topic from.
Dude, no. I'm not
initially
gonna lie.
talking about.
My
We're
biggest
chatting.
my biggest thing, dude, is just like I just really want to get a lot of people on the podcast simply because like I don't think that we thought that we would end up in. I use the term TEDH, and like some people will be like, TEDH isn't a thing. Some people are like, no, it is a thing. It is what it is. I use it as like a term to. Oh, go ahead. You look like you're about to say something, brother.
No, I said I agree. I was just like, I'm coming to terms on this TDH thing.
Yeah, like I use it as like a way to describe like not even necessarily like because it's not necessarily a different thing. It's just it's a more narrow meta, and I honestly use it more to describe like a group of people that just like tournament grind versus people that play like casual cEDH. And I think that we never thought we would end up in like that space, but where we started doing the tournament breakdowns forever ago, we started making friends with a lot of people that were doing well in tournaments because they see us like cover their deck and they're like, oh shit, that's awesome. Like my deck got reviewed. And then other people reach out and they're like, oh, I want you to talk about my deck. And then we just made friends with a lot of people. And so it's been fun to just get to hear the opinions of the people that are actually like doing well in the space. But then also I feel like it's made us so much better as players because we were just playing like, we were playing cEDH, but not necessarily like we weren't really ever probably planning on like tournament grinding. We would go to tournaments here and there, and then once we got hooked, it's like fuck, dude, we're constantly looking at events and trying to make time to go do stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, and then when you go to events, now that you've met so many people, it's like so much more fun because you're like, oh, I know that guy, and I know that guy, and I've interacted with that person, or they'll just say their like Discord name, and you'd be like, oh my god, we've talked before, which is like so fun.
Hell yeah.
Whenever we were at the cookout, there's one guy that I think he's pretty active in the Nashville Discord, but he's from Murray, and he came up to me with his cookout playmat, and he goes, Chase, you've earned enough credibility now. You can now sign my mat. And I was just like, I never would have thought that that would be a thing. I
Yeah,
was like, this is really cool. But yeah,
yeah,
I kind of agree with Blake on that. Like, neither one of us really thought about like where we would end up or like where we're going to continue to go. But like you've very clearly been in the CEDH space for a while, and you mentioned it at the beginning of today's episode that you are one half of the Hellbent podcast. So
yeah.
like, it almost kind of getting into that like content creation realm for a second, like what made you and Cam decide to get into doing that?
Yeah. So I guess some background on Cam that he doesn't always talk about. He was in bands for a while. He's a singer. He was in a lot of bands, and he decided that he didn't want to do that anymore. And so I think for him, in the back of his mind, like he always needs like and especially for me, like he wanted a project to work on. Like it's something to do and like build towards and like put effort into. And since he's not like in a band, I think the podcast and like content creator thing was always in the back of our minds. We always talked about it. And then I started to do really good. And then I made the invitational. And then I like became number one ELO for a little bit. And then he won an event at Steel City. And finally he was like, okay, bro, we'll do it. Like the iron's hot. Let's do it while we like have some engagement. And I had been like trying to like get a Twitter following and I'm like really active on Twitter and I've had some tweets that have gone like pretty well. And so we were like, fuck it, let's just like put out some content. And it's been really cool. People have been so nice, so much nicer than I would have thought. So supportive. So yeah, here we are doing the thing. It's super cool. Our goal is to, get invited to events for free. That's the that's the goal. Some free Dragon Shield sleeves. That's what I want. So
Bro.
we'll see if we get that.
I just got a message the other day from GameGenic because I messaged them and was like, "You should."
Let's go.
I was like, "You should sponsor us," and they literally were like, we'll think about it." I was like, "You motherfuckers!"
You gotta reply though. You gotta
I
reply.
did, so I was happy. So like, I'm just gonna keep bugging the shit out of all these companies, and whoever does it, then after that, I'm like fucking boycotting the rest. No, I'm just kidding, but but
Yeah, I will ride so hard if anyone sponsors me. I will ride so hard.
Dude, I don't know if this is necessarily appropriate for the podcast, but I always make this joke about when we go to events. I hope I one day get sponsored by Dude Wipes. Dude Wipes for these because that's what gets me through the day for these tournaments, and I think most people probably going to these events probably need it.
I have them in my bag. That my bag is like right here. I was about to fold up, but yeah, dude wipes are essential. Dude wipes are
Yeah.
essential. We were joking about Blue Chew, getting the Blue Chew sponsorship.
that's funny, dude. Have we ever talked about publicly what we want to do for our channel, Matt Chase?
No, I don't think so.
Do you want to talk
Would
about
you
it?
like to share it?
Dude, we want to. Okay, I don't know why the blue chew made me think of this, but I've talked to Tim. I've talked to Tim about this, and we want to do a channel match so bad. But we had this idea, and it would be so. I think it's hilarious. But have you ever seen like the Piper Perry meme? You know what I'm talking about, where she's like on the couch and there's the dude standing behind
On the
her?
couch with the dudes.
Yeah,
Yes.
I said
Yeah,
that we
yeah,
should
yeah,
do a
yeah.
mat like that because if you look at the couch, we got people used to joke that we instead of casting cost, we were casting couch. So
Hilarious.
we thought about making the couch, and on that couch there are two pillows, and so we would put our faces on the pillows, and then instead of Piper Perry, it's Timna, and then behind her's all the partners she pairs with.
That's funny. That's actually a good idea.
Hell
I
yeah.
actually like that. I actually like it.
Hell yeah! But no,
That's funny.
we're just fucking goons, dude. That's all it is.
Yeah. Well, that's what cEDH is. Just a bunch of dudes laughing, having fun. Dude and dudettes. Laughing, having fun, chilling. cEDH is so much more of a community than any of the 60 card formats I've ever been in. Tournaments are not like they are when you go to big cEDH tournaments. Everyone's having fun and talking and smoking cigarettes together, like doing the thing. It's sick.
I do
Calling a
have
judge over to get a bathroom break and go to the bathroom real quick and hit the vape and
dude. The last event that I had, we had a judge call, and then the judge happened to he happened to watch the podcast. So like he comes over and he does the judge call, and then me and him get into like a 5-minute conversation in the middle of this game, and literally one of the dudes goes, "Are we gonna get a time extension for this?" And the judge goes, "Yeah, you got 5 minutes." And like,
Yeah. Well, that's like what's so awesome about it. It's just like such a small world. It's so sick. Everyone's so nice.
Hell
It's
yeah.
awesome.
Do you
Yeah, dude. That
oh, go ahead, Chase, do it. Say what you're gonna say.
no, you got it. You got it. You got it.
No, I always I have these like fun questions that I just like to ask people because I just want to hear what people have to say in space. But like, do you care if I ask you a couple of like fun questions?
Yeah, yeah, go ahead.
Hell yeah! If you had okay, so I love this one. If you could only play decks that had like no matter what, like you can't play a deck that doesn't have this one color in it. What would be the one color that you would build around if like you could only build around one color for like you can play things with it, but you can never play a deck without that one color. What would that one color be in cEDH?
A blue.
Blue.
I like drawing cards. Yeah, I like drawing cards. I'm a fiend. Please draw cards. Like that's all I want to do.
I got you. And then you already kind of answered one of the other ones because I was going to ask what your favorite commanders were, but you said Teamer Pirates.
Teamer Pirates is my favorite deck ever. Yeah, Malcolm is my favorite commander ever. So much. I have an artist proof
Interesting.
Malcolm around here somewhere. It's got a pirate drawn on the back. I love Malcolm so much. If Jeweled Lotus came back tomorrow night I would be playing Teamer Pirates like without there's no world where I wouldn't. I love Malcolm so much.
Hell yeah.
Just he's in a bad spot.
And then my other one, if you had to ban two cards and unban two cards, what would two cards for like each would they be?
I had a
Mystic
ban.
Study and Thassa's Oracle.
Yeah. No, if I had to ban two cards, I would ban Pact of Negation is a card I would ban.
Okay.
Um, and then I might ban Silence.
Okay.
Silence and Pact of Negation. If I had to ban two cards, those would be the two that I banned. And I would unban. Oh, I really want to unban Nadu and Dockside, but Primeval Titan could come off very easily. I
Okay.
would like Primeval Titan to come off the ban list, and probably Leovold would be
Leovold.
the other card that I would want off the ban list. Yeah, Leovold wouldn't even be that good. Narset Parter Veils isn't playable, and Leovold is like harder to cast than Narset Parter Veils, so I think it would be safe. Dockside could come back too. But yeah, Pact Negation and Silence is the two cards that I would ban.
That's so interesting. Is there a reason? I'm guessing it has to do with draws.
Yeah. Pact is like a draw machine, and I would like to take that away from the format. And then I think Silence is too good. Like I actively just think Silence is too good.
Like the just like instant speed silence or like all the silence effects.
Just actual Silence. Like Orange Chain is fine because it's one person. I think Revel Silence is fine is because it's 2 mana. But just Silence is just so efficient.
Mhm.
Like even like Grand Abolisher costs 2 mana, and Ranger Captain Vios costs 3 mana. But Silence is just like, I don't know. Now having played Blue Farm, like I understand how good it is, bro. It's so good. It's so good. More than half of my wins are like under a Silence, right? And then it's just like easy mode. So Silence could go for sure. Definitely Pact though. If I could ban one card, it would be Pact.
What?
What about you? What's
Oh.
your guys' cards?
Oh, I said
Mystic Study, that's Oracle.
oh, well, okay. As a Zerg player, I don't want Zerg or I don't want Ristic Study to go anywhere. But I said that if we had to pick stuff that would be like the biggest shake to the format, I said probably Ristic. But I don't think I would want Ristic Study to get banned just because I like the grindier games. I'm not gonna lie. Like people still Turbo decks still win, and then the mid range decks can mid range like it's fine. But I don't know. I think that if we had to pick two cards that would really shake up the format, I think my two cards that I picked, it was Ristic and oh my god, fucking A, dude. I just drew a total blank. 2 mana, blue, storm, mill a shit ton of cards.
Brain Freeze.
Brain freeze. There we go. I don't know why I drew
Yeah.
total blank, but yeah, just
Brain
because
Freeze could go.
I think that it makes the Underworld Breach lines so much easier and cleaner for a lot of decks. Like you wouldn't banning Breach I think would be bad because I still want other decks to have like win cons, and I don't think Thassa's is really like that big a problem. Like I know people feel like it is, but
Yeah. Hot take, I don't think Thassa's Oracle is a problem at
Yeah.
all. It is just a way to end the game, bro. Most of the time it's getting cast. The game has been won a long time ago.
it's so funny you say that because we just had a whole discussion in our Discord today. I say discussion, it was not a discussion. It was like it was pretty heated.
Fight.
Yeah, but like same thing. Jake, good old Jake, he was a part of this discussion because somebody made the comment that Thassa should get banned, Ristic, and I think there was one other card. I can't remember what it was. and then they mentioned something about bringing back Dockside, and he immediately was like, "Okay, I'm just gonna join in on this conversation," and like was like, "That's ain't a problem, Ristic, blah blah blah," like all this stuff, and then it just turned into like a full blown like fucking send it, and it was really funny. I'm not gonna lie, but
If I feel like if I had to be like realistic on bans, like Ristic Study, I'm like super indifferent to. At this point I don't care if it gets banned. I don't care if it stays around. I'm just gonna play around it one way or another. And I play a deck that really doesn't even care about drawing into it and jamming it. It just kind of has to sometimes. I hate Angel's Grace. I
That's
despise
another
that
card.
card.
Yeah, fuck Angel's Grace. I agree.
Thank you. Thank you.
this is the
Who likes
first
Angel's
time. This is
Grace
the
here,
first
Blake?
time we've disagreed. No,
Yeah, yeah.
I
Fuck
hate that
card.
card. I like so
that is. I think
because
that is my pet card. Any deck it can go in, it goes in.
Oh my god. No.
everything was going so
I
good.
have
The
exactly
vibes
one.
were good until this happened.
I have exactly one turn one win in Esper, and it was due to Angel's Grace. I literally like in Zer, I spit out a fuck ton of mana, and then I played Adnaw's Angel's Grace, picked up my whole deck, and I didn't even have enough free rocks left to make blue, so I had to chain a vapor, bouncing my shit to then recast it to cast Thassa's. Like it was really bad.
This is what happens. Dudes win one time with Angel's Grace, and then they ruin the format forever. No, I'm kidding.
Hey,
But facts.
The
But
confirmation
no,
bias on that card is crazy.
yeah, I think I love you, Blake, but it just feels like a gotcha card, and then I almost kind of would rope it into the same category that Ty brought up with silence of impact, of just like it just stalls out the game, right? And that's why I think you could technically make the same argument for like Ristic to some extent, like if we didn't really get into the whole thing tonight, but like if that's what kind of people are looking at as far as like it being a problem in the format and definitely being a problem at like the lower bracket levels, then I think it kind of makes sense as to why they're looking at it as a card on the chopping block. But I think people just need to learn how to play around it like more effectively. But Angel's Grace is definitely the fuck you card. And then I don't really have anything else other than that. I think now, as far as unbanning, I think
Crypt and JLo.
Joe Lotus, yeah, Joe Lotus and Mana Crypt, like just those two. I'd be fine with just having those come off the list right now, and
Crypt is
they'd be
Aerosol Ring.
amazing.
I would. I sold my signed Mana Crypt. Please don't unban it. I'll feel really bad.
I've held on to all my stuff just in
I
case the day.
I kept my signed Jeweled Lotus, and I kept my signed Dockside, and on my I bought more Nadus. I have so many Nadus, but I sold my Mana Crypt. Mana Crypt's
Naughty
too great.
stocks.
Yeah, it's playable in Canadian Highlander. I play Nadu. It's so sick.
Do
I
you
have
have
a bunch of them. It's awesome.
Do you have like an equal number of Shukos to Nadus or no?
I have way more Shukos because Legacy.
Okay.
I got
Fair
a bunch
enough.
of Shukos.
Fair enough.
I got
No,
a bunch of Shukos.
I do think, yeah, I think that's really interesting though. Like, I think it's funny that as somebody who plays in tournaments a lot, like it sounds weird, but I feel like the people that don't really play in the tournament setting a lot have problems with like certain cards. The people that are playing in tournaments a lot, like your problem cards were like literally things that caused draws. They weren't even, it wasn't things that we were like, oh, toxic play patterns. Like even for us,
Yeah.
like we didn't have any issues with like a lot of those cards. Like I just mentioned brain freeze because I had to say something, and I didn't want to take away like breach lines from like Dihada or like some of these other like Jeskai, decks or
Yeah,
like
decks
these.
that can only win with Breach, right? Yeah.
Yeah. And so like I didn't want to do that, but yeah, dude, I don't know. I think it's interesting. Like I don't know.
Yeah, maybe a different perspective, right? Like the problem that I see with CDH is that like yeah, there's too many draws. I really don't care about. There's nothing in CDH that's like too toxic, and maybe that's like coming from like playing in formats that are truly, truly broken. Like I was playing Breach in Modern, and like it was 70% of the meta. It was so awesome. The deck rocked, and like I was the only person at FNM playing Breach, and I would just 3-0 every time. I was printing money. It was so sick. But like CDH is like never been that broken. And like I think if people like experienced how broken like a format can be, they would be like, Ristic Study's fine, Thousands Oracle's fine. Just like you, if you've never experienced like a truly cracked format, like it is a different thing. It's just not fun to play anymore.
That's the thing that gets me. And like again, sorry to derail it, but like, dude, coming from Yu-Gi-Oh, that's like a prime example. Like you were saying, dude, the number of times I hear Magic like CDH compared to Yu-Gi-Oh, I'm like, y'all have no fucking idea. Like, I mean, I'm not joking. Like, what the reason I got out of the format was because I forget what the specific like deck was. I can't remember what the shell was, but like you just had like you had like starters, extenders, certain things, and then like a shit ton of like counters, like kind of like what we have. Like for us, it's like hand traps and like things like impermanence and like all this other stuff. So just things that you can play from the hand instead of having to commit it to the board. But people would literally like the normal play pattern for a tournament was like you would roll a die to see who goes first. Whoever went first would basically win. Then it would switch. The next person who went first would win, and then it would switch back, and then you would win again as first. But like the deck was literally, you would play a loop where your opponent would discard one card. You would animate that creature to discard them again, and then you would play a creature that caused your opponents to discard two cards. And then when they drew for turn, because you only start with 5 cards in hand, when you draw for turn, you technically only have 2 cards in hand. They would activate the creature, pitch 2 of their own cards, make you pitch your other cards. So like you would start your turn 1 with 0 cards in hand, and then just pass the turn, and then the person would kill you with like they'd combo again, make enough like damage to OTK you, and then you would just switch, and then you would do it to them, and then you'd switch, and they'd do it to you again, and then you would just you'd go to the next game and hope you won the die roll, and that was like the whole format. And at that point, I was like,
Yeah.
"Fuck this! I'm tired of doing this." And then I came into CEH
Yeah.
and loved it. And then I hear people go, "Oh, it's like Yu-Gi-Oh!" And I'm like, "Shut the fuck up! No, it is not."
Yeah. No, I agree. It's not.
I like how we somehow got like a full circle back into
Yeah,
like
60 card.
1v1 for formats.
That's the only lens I do Magic through. So
Yeah, instead of go play some CDH to end it, we're gonna be like, go play some 60 card. No.
yeah, go play some Popper. Yeah.
So I think that would be a good place to end this on. So, before we kind of close out, Ty, would you like to give any kind of shout outs or talk about your podcast one last time before we get off of here?
Anything you're
Let me just shout out
planning?
everybody that lives in Ohio one at a time. No, yeah. Come check us out, Hellbent MTG on TikTok, Hellbent CDH. If you just Google that, you'll find us on YouTube. If you have any questions about CDH, feel free to like hit me up or comment or tweet at me. I'm around, and yeah, see you guys at some tournaments. Thanks for having me on, guys. It was really fun.
I hope you enjoyed the chaos that is
No,
the
I loved
Casting
it so
Cost
much.
CEH podcast. But and we definitely appreciate you being on here with us tonight. Blake, do you have anything else you'd like to end with?
No, nothing I can think of. I guess
No,
like
you're good.
when by the time that this is out, I mean we'll be the day after playing in that event. So I was gonna like say we could, I don't know, but like we'll have a fun little recap of how we've done in this little event. But
Hopefully,
yeah, it might
hopefully
be
it'll be
bad.
fine.
Winners.
But yeah.
Oh, dude, I'm just playing flubs. Like, I'm just bullshitting it. So
Hell
because
yeah.
Blake's making me. But yeah, no, we got that event this weekend. I know that Fishbowl is this weekend, right?
Yeah. If it's
Is that true? Yeah, there's quite a few people to go in that. I think you're going. Are you going to an event this weekend, or was that?
We have a big Time Twister event in Detroit.
Yes.
So a lot of the Ohio people and Michigan people are going. And there's a lot of really great players that'll be at that. So all the Midwest people that aren't going to the Fishbowl will be there. So it'll be.
Oh yeah, dude. Well, good luck at that event. Good luck to everyone going out and competing this weekend with whatever event you plan on going to. We just appreciate you all taking the time to listen to us tonight, just kind of rant and ramble and picking the brain of Ty, Ohio. So if you like what we are doing, go on ahead and like and subscribe. I know we didn't talk about that at the beginning of the podcast like we typically do, but just go on ahead and do it. We're still at like 76% of the people that listen to us have not subscribed to us, and that's just ridiculous. So it's free. You just have to click a button. Go on ahead and do that. Also, while you're at it, join our Patreon. There's still days left. You can get into our Patreon and you get access to Criticals League. No, there's not a whole lot of days left, but hey, if you want to join the league, go and do that. Like right now, might as well. It's only like $3 on our end. Also, join our Discord because on Discord we still have it for free. I don't know if that's going to change. We're still in the talks on that. I don't think it's going to change. But if you want to join our Discord and see some of the chaos that happened today, or just join in the discussions, feel free to do that. But until next week, again, like, subscribe, comment down below, and as always,
Go play some CEDH.
Or
and
Popper.
Popper.
Or Popper. Or Popper.